but thank you very much. We'll take a quick break, and then Brian wants to chime in with more Electoral College. Do you say electoral or electoral? Or do you vary? Because my mileage may vary.
Yeah, I think whatever. I'm in the mood for it. All right, we'll take a quick break, and then there's more discussion to be had. If you want to jump in, 312-981-7200. It's Bill and Wendy, WGN. Hi, everybody. It's us. It's Bill and Wendy, and we're discussing the election that took place on Tuesday.
You're going to say we're disgusted.
We're disgusted about the election that took place on Tuesday to some extent. 312-981-7200 if you know some stuff.
We were talking about the Electoral College, and Brian, jump in, will you?
Hi, Bill and Wendy. Let me just first say that I had actually turned 720 ticket off my presets about a month ago because the bias was so unbridled and just so ridiculous. And I said, I'll get you guys back on after the election because I really love listening to Steve. I love listening to you guys and Rokon. And it was just a shame. But let me tell you about the Electoral College real quick.
All right.
Okay?
Are you back to stay, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely. No
All right, good. Welcome back.
I had to turn you off. So listen, we are a democratic republic, okay? So what happens is each state, okay, the voters in each state vote to decide who they are going to send as delegates to vote for the President of the United States.
Right.
We have 50 sovereign states, okay?
Yeah.
The reason that this was set up this way, okay, is so that each state got representation because if you don't do it this way, the country is in danger of being ruled by just the large urban population centers, L.A., Chicago, New York, etc.
Right.
It'll actually be decided by those three states, okay? So
all right, that makes sense.
Set up that way. Now, let me answer one of Wendy's questions, which was why is it always happening to the Democrats? Well, I'll tell you why. Because if you look at the vote totals in California, Illinois, and New York, they are so way over the top for Democrats every time. That's why it's almost impossible for Republicans to win the popular vote, okay? That's what happens. There's not enough population in those other states to do that. Now, you realize, of course, that as California, New York, and Illinois, they all get an enormous number of electoral votes to send to the Electoral College because of their population.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll leave you with this one last thing, Wendy, especially, is that because you seem to be the most upset about it, and I don't want you to be. I want you to really understand how it works, right? So take a look when you get a chance, and this is the thing that always is so telling. Take a look at an electoral map or an election map of the whole country by county, red and blue, right? And what you'll see is the entire country is red. The entire country when you go county by county, except for little blue spaces around the urban centers, and this year there's a pretty significant blue space just above the line between California and Mexico. There's a pretty significant blue spot there.
Is it a wall?
But otherwise, it's all in the... No, that's not what I'm saying. But it's all about the... well, anyway, I think I've explained it enough. But take a look at that map, and you'll understand why that this was not a win of the popular vote per se, they missed the will of the country. They actually did not. Take a look at that map.
I'm looking at the map, and I looked at it that night, and it is mostly red. But here's my question to you. Are you an attorney, or why do you know so much about the Electoral College, and thank you for knowing it?
Well, here, I am just some poor schmuck, or working schmuck, and I just love American history, and I read a lot of books on American history. My favorite author, by the way, and I tell everybody, David McCullough, if you read his books, they are fantastic. They are absolutely fantastic, and I read a lot on American history. And you know what? Honestly, I'm 57 years old, and they taught this stuff in school when I was younger. You know, and I pay attention.
Well, yeah, and I should have paid more attention. So let me ask you this, Brian.
You know what?
How are electorates chosen? Is it through like Congress members? Is it senators? How are they chosen? And because if this
actual delegates that go cast the vote.
Yes, because my question now is with the Republicans having control of the House and the Senate, does that mean that Republicans are pretty much always going to have the say now in the Electoral College, at least for quite some time?
No.
Or is there no connection?
No connection at all. None whatsoever. Each state, you know, they choose their delegates in each state. And then, as an example, I don't even know how many delegates Illinois has, but those people are already chosen, and their duty is to go down and cast those votes. It's kind of a pointless position. Really, you don't really need people to do it, but they still have people doing it for. You know, I'm sure we know the reason for that, right? But yeah, it's really just numbers. and nobody is going to go to the Electoral College and cast a vote for a different candidate than who they were told to go vote for.
Although I read some guy had posted something up on the internet, and I'm looking for it now, who said he is required to go with what the rest of the state is doing. He's an electoral voter, and he said he's not.
Yeah, he has to. That's all smoke and mirrors. He absolutely has to.
But in some states you don't, right? Like, isn't Maine one that you can separate? There's a couple of states where they were saying they split the electoral votes.
Correct. In some states, I think you're right. Maine is one. I'm not saying I'm an expert on all states, but I'm pretty sure that Maine is one where they don't vote statewide.
It's Maine and Nebraska.
I think Maine has 4, and they went 3 Republican, 1 Democrat, I believe.
Yeah, so they can have different districts with to do it that way. That's the state's choice. I mean, it's up to the state. That's why it's a sovereign state. They can do whatever they want to with regard to that, right? But most states, the majority rules. And hey, listen, an example of the problem with not having electoral college is you ask people in Illinois outside of the city of Chicago if they feel like they're being represented by their Congress, and they'll say no.
Overwhelmingly,
right?
They feel like Chicago has all the power.
Right, like Chicago is.
They're right about it to some extent.
In control of all of Illinois.
Well, anyway, we don't need to debate that. I get where you're going with that, but you understand that people deserve representation, and you cannot let this country just get ruled by 3 urban population centers. Because, by the way, it would be so easy if that were the case for one party to just go ahead and take over the entire country. So everybody just needs to sort of calm down a little bit. I mean, when I posted on Facebook, Wendy, was if anybody is afraid of a Trump presidency, or if they're afraid of a Hillary presidency, they don't. I mean, I'm talking about afraid. Then they don't really understand how this country works. We have 3 branches of government.
Right. It's not just one person calling all the shots. I get that.
And then the bottom line is that there are. If you look at the mean in the Congress, there are more moderates than anything. And the moderates in Congress from both parties will not allow a president to go off the rails. They just won't. I mean, they did it to Obama. The moderates in the Democratic Party had to control Obama to a certain extent, allowing him to do some things and not do some other things that they thought were just, over the top, far left wing. And they're not going to let Trump do anything like that. We've already seen the establishment come out against Trump. They're not going to let him run crazy. So everybody needs to calm down. Our system of government works. We have a constitution. We have a great system of government. It's going to work just fine.
With a guy who doesn't know what he's doing, and if he does, okay, we're all in this together. If not, then I'm voting for Kanye in 4 years.
Okay, that's fair.
Thank you, Brian, for all the info.
Guy not knowing what he's doing.
Right.
The last thing I'll tell you about not knowing what he's doing.
You have 10 seconds here, buddy. We got to run.
I'll do that. I'll say this. Obama didn't know what he was doing either. I would say that the 70-year-old man with worldly experience in business probably knows more than the community organizer.
That's your opinion.
That too.
That's your
Well, I'm
opinion,
just saying.
and we're all entitled to it. And welcome back. I hope you'll stay.
Have a great.
Thanks,
have a great
Brian.
day, man.
All right, let's do this. A quick break, some news, and then a lot more show. It's Bill and Wendy.